Etepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Harun Nefer. This is Qesankh Maat with another exciting video for you. And in this video, I want to talk about the Maat factor, which is what's love got to do with it. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button located below. If this is your first time to my channel, hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you want to know more about my spiritual teachings, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, $20 per month. It's up to you. You will get exclusive access to instructional videos on the spiritual, videos that will teach you how to meditate, how to do hypnosis, how to put together a magical amulet, how to contact the spirits or ancestors, how to do lucid dreaming. Also, I do have my ebooks, which are free. You can download them and start reading. I also do have mantras that will help you in your daily life, such as mantras to attract a mate, mantras to attract wealth, and so forth. And it's all available to you as a Patreon supporter, and there's never any obligation. You can cancel at any time. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so that we can get the revolution started. All right, Harun Nefer, Namaste, Grand Rising. I am just in a state of just bewilderment because when I look at the Black community, I can only derive from that observation that we're a broken people. Obviously, there's a lot of problems, but they're very obvious, and we're not taking any steps to correct them. So what do I mean? I have an issue with some of these so-called dating coaches, dating gurus, who most of them are like armchair quarterbacks. They don't have any real experience. Some are even married, and they're trying to give out dating advice. I don't understand how you're going to be married and give out dating advice. That doesn't make any sense, especially if you're married for like 5-10 years. But yet they want to proclaim that they can solve your problems. Even in like the Christian community, I'm hearing these ministers talk about if you just follow the Bible, you will be blessed with a mate, and he or she will make you happy. But when I look at these things, there's one thing that is missing. The one thing that none of the so-called dating gurus, males or females, or even the Christian ministers giving dating advice, hit upon. And it's the biggest thing that we're missing from the Black community that if we implement it, could solve everything. You see, we have the greatest spiritual culture in the world because no other religion can lay claim to building the pyramids. Our ancestors did that. Not only that, and all the Egyptologists and anthropologists will agree, we had the most morally upright civilization the planet has ever seen. The Greek and Roman civilization fell back into decadence. But in Egypt, Kemet, being morally upright was of so much importance that they created a goddess after that, which is the daughter of Ra, Maat. And when people talk about Maat, it's always about the feather. It's always about like the scales. It's always about truth, justice, righteousness, or the 42 negative confessions. But the one thing they don't talk about, which is the key to healing the Black community, is love. Ma'at is about love, and she governs relationships. Let me say that again. She governs love and relationships. And Ma'at tells us that true love is giving, seeking nothing in return. There is an absence of love in relationships in the Black community. It's nothing but hookup culture and out of wedlock births, which is dangerous. When you are having children out of wedlock and the father is not in the house, that's a recipe for destruction of a people. And that is what we're doing. We're about hookup culture. We're about going and just having these babies. The women just spreading their legs for any man, Pookie or Ray Ray usually. And these Pookie or Ray Rays don't stick around, but they go impregnate other women. And this is especially the problem in the rap industry where you have these rappers who have some semblance of fame and notoriety going around impregnating every girl they meet. And consequently, they end up with like 12 kids, 14 kids. Who's that rapper? DMX died with 12 kids? That's ridiculous. We're not animals. We should know how to control ourselves. We're protection. Value the institution of marriage to raise children properly. I was watching these documentaries on the mesquite monkeys, and the mother monkey, when she gave birth, would bring the baby to the monkey community, and the community would help in raising that monkey, that baby monkey. It would be taught hierarchy. It will be taught who's the alpha male. It will be taught who eats first, who eats last. Even among the monkey community, there's a structure. But in the Black community, there is nothing when raising children. There's no love when looking for a mate. It's just about how quickly I can get pregnant. And then there's a celebration of Black women who get pregnant, as if that's some type of accomplishment, who get pregnant out of wedlock. If you loved your child, you would make sure that that child had a father in the household. For protection, for guidance, for love, for the understanding of structure, discipline. But our women are going out there and getting pregnant by 2 or 3 different dudes. And unfortunately, the media has created this culture to where it teaches women, our women, to mate with, to value the Pookies and the Ray Rays, but not the intelligentsia, not the smart brothers, because they're educated lame. They're nerds. Why value them? So consequently, we have our women going around having babies with guys they know are no good. And they'll have babies by men who already have kids by other women. And that's a biological thing because women are programmed to get with men who are prized possession. So they see a guy who's had women and who've had women, been with other women, are seen as the prize. That's a biological thing that comes from our primitive upbringing. Women seek socially proofed men. If he's with other women, then he must be the prize. I want to go over some statistics with you so you can see the situation and what we're facing. Let me share my screen. There we go. Percentage of births to unmarried mothers. The percentage of births to unmarried mothers among Black women is the highest in the United States at 78%. The share of births to unmarried women has increased for all racial and ethnic groups since 1990, but the increase for Black women has been particularly large. The percentage of births to unmarried mothers is lower for Hispanic women, Asian women, and white women. Let me say it again. Is lower for Hispanic women, 58%, Asian women, 31%, and white women, 30%. The share of immigrant women of childbearing age who are unmarried has changed little since 1990, but the share of the U.S.-born women has increased markedly. Black mothers are 60 to 65% more likely to delay marriage after a non-marital birth compared to white mothers. Say it again. Black mothers are 60 to 65% more likely to delay marriage after a non-marital birth compared to white mothers. So that tells you that there's something wrong in the Black community. And this should not be allowed to continue. But the idea is that there's no criteria for hooking up with each other. We don't talk about the idea that I love him, I'm in love with him. That word has no meaning and is rarely used. And a lot of things we do is just superficial. Men will look at the woman if she got a big ass, if she got a nice body, but don't look at the content of her character. Women will do something similar, how much he makes, what kind of job he has, what kind of car he has, but nothing about the content of his character. And this is by design. This is social engineering. We didn't do this to ourselves. One, living in this white European culture, was not the right thing for us. And number two, we have been crafted and socially engineered to objectify each other. Women want to go get BBLs because they think that's what the guy wants. The guy, all he'll talk about is a fat booty. But there again, there's no Maat. Again, we have a wonderful spiritual system. But all we do is go to the white Christian church and support that, which was not created for us. That is a left brain religion trying to fit into our right brain minds. It won't work for us because it's based primarily on verbalization, you sit there and you listen to the minister. That's not how that is not how we in Kemet existed. I can go into the whole structure of how the community in ancient Africa worked, which was usually through you were indoctrinated through osmosis. There was no lecture. There was no spiritual books that you read from. There was no scriptures. That's for left brain people, white people. I'm not denigrating them. I'm just telling you. But we try to fit into that, and it doesn't work for us. We have abandoned the things that do work for us. The idea of community, the idea of it takes a tribe to raise a child. We have severely lost our way. We are at red alert. And yet all we're doing is dancing, rapping, and tweaking or twerking. Yet we do have a kind of cursory understanding of Ma'at, but don't apply the principles. If we started applying the principles of polygamous relationships, we could get rid of this whole thing about women fighting over a man and the out of wedlock births. We can eliminate that if we apply polygamy. But no one wants to do that because we look upon our spiritual traditions, including polygamy, as evil, as pagan. Because we have been crafted and programmed by white society. We see up is down and down is up. They have greatly confused us. We have no culture. We have no language. And the absence of that is Black culture is just an amalgamation of junk we've thrown together, primarily, mostly hip hop. And it has proven to be destructive. The foundation of any relationship, whether you're courting somebody or already married to them, has to be ma'at, has to be love. And the absence of that is a recipe for disaster. Women taking the guy to court to get child support. The guy financially bankrupt because he has 2 or 3 baby mamas, and can't afford to pay child support. Then they lock him up, take away his passport. We got to stop being afraid of the things that are of us. Don't be afraid of the ancestors. Don't be afraid of your spiritual culture that created civilization. We created the idea of civilization, civil. We civilized the world because it was barbaric. And now we're acting barbaric, shooting each other up, having a gender war, babies that don't have fathers in the household. This is not us. And it needs to stop. These so-called guru dating coaches need to start talking about love and stop with the tips, tricks, and techniques to fool the woman or fool the man to get into a relationship with you or to do right by you. The primary basis for getting into a relationship should be going to the oracles and doing an oracle reading to find out if you should be in a relationship with that person. But again, we're afraid of oracles. We're like, oh, I don't want to listen to an oracle because she got a fat booty and I want to hit that. I want to smash that. That comes out of the mammalian brain. That's a very primitive and savage way of thinking about things. I'm sorry. Now, there's nothing wrong with seeing a woman and being sexually attracted to her, but that doesn't form the basis of how the relationship should be. Let's go to the Oracle right now and ask the Oracle, what's wrong with Black relationships? Hail to the T, making victorious his sorrow with his enemies, on his night that of battle, and making the feathering of his sabot, day that destroying the enemies of literature, night that making to stand the jet and jet two, salutation of power, father, mother, supreme being, who comes this duty. Thanks for the words divine. My heart belongs to you. Netta, please comment on what the problem is with Black relationships. First card, Wajet. Subterfuge. Things that are there that we can't see. As I spoke about social engineering, I spoke about how we didn't create this problem. It's not of us. They're outside interference in our relationships. Next card. Harukahuti, there's conflict. Something is out there instigating conflict, creating separation between us. Harukahuti is the god of war. So we know that there's a force that has intervened in creating conflict between Black men and Black women. And consequently, we're fighting each other. We're fighting each other. So we're going to have to deal with this outside force. Which is using various means and methods to break down the Black community and destroy our relationships. I spoke before in the previous video about how they're using women like Sexy Red, Glorilla, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion to influence Black women to be overly sexualized, objectified, and to be sluts and thoughts. That's not how women should be. We know the Oracle has spoken. We know that there are things that we need to do now to put in place. But it takes a level of maturity. And this can't be done by the masses. The masses are just sheeple. They're just following along. We need those with intelligence, those who are leaders in the Black community to step up, to help put in place a culture, to help put a stop to what the white oligarchy are doing to us. If you're that person, then step up in the community. Step up. Don't be afraid to get into a polygamous relationship. Don't be afraid to marry the woman that you're with or the man that you're with. That will put an end to the disintegration of Black relationships and the Black community. If you like what I said today, please donate to the channel. This is Qesankh Maat Keparu, son of Maat and Tahuti. Maat is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, I'm in Ra.